I'm going to play Heroes Land, an online multiplayer competitive PvPvE game that includes quests, bosses, dungeons, co-op, challenges, and so much more. Download the game for free on Steam using my link below. Thanks for sponsoring Heroes Land. Starting off as a Spartan, I commenced collecting resources and using said resources to level up quite quickly. However, I also need to annihilate some innocent forest life because Merlin told me to. Thankfully, as a new player, I am provided with a 5-star Fury of Apollo bow, which makes hunting around a cinch. In Heroes Land, you gain loot from animals, and after speeding up deforestation, I have already leveled up to 53. Returning to Merlin, I am rewarded with the ability to pull some free heroes before some boss fights, including the King himself. Importantly, each hero has their own skill, like the Spartan's Phalanx skill that reduces damage and thrusts in return with spears. The King, on the other hand, summons 2 of his soldiers whilst fighting the Minotaur. The first boss thinks with his head and charges recklessly forward, and man, his health is high, because he's 20 levels higher than me at 105. But thanks to my tireless soldiers taunting and my bow's secondary move, Fan of Arrows, I strike the final blow, turning it into a loot pinata. The wizard then guides us north to face the Sandworm, a boss who loves diving into the earth and who is surrounded by other enemies to boot. He forced me to build a bonfire which recovers my health when within its radius, just to have it be destroyed by the boss's hail of poisonous gel.
How dare you!
Getting revenge by staying light on my feet allows me to no-scope finish him off, granting me mythic 6-star gear. And a freaking fire cannon? How is it used, you ask? Let's use my friend the rushing Cyclops to demonstrate. While he does try to keep us at bay throwing his club and use AoE attacks to scare me away from melee combat, I keep my distance with the Mythic's primary fire, normal cannonballs, and then the secondary mode, allowing me to dodge while keeping on the pain. Slaying the beast provided me with more hero pulls, and I received enough witches to form a 2-star witch, giving great stats. Kicking off the training wheels, I enter my first dungeon, and I decide to go solo into Dragon's Lair.
Sir, I'm afraid you've gone mad with power.
The layout is 5 boss arenas. Thus, I head north to Tiamat, the Dragon of Chaos's home, and it starts hot with the rain of asteroids. Not only do these bosses have multiple life bars, but 2 of Tiamat's heads spit out laser-like lightning strikes. So I have to weave through the meteor shower, dodge his poisonous mist the best I can, and learn to back up out of the cone of lightning's path when it reappears. As a witch, I summon a poisonous cauldron that spews forth damage over time, and I chip away at its health until I slay the fell beast and equip a mythic item in my boot slot. That's right, full rainbow armor. Heading through the lightning fields to the west, I encounter Shomanu the Warlord, he who spawns evil bulls to do his dirty work, then charges across the field. I try to make headway, axing my way through the hordes of thralls, but accidentally overextend in the swarm of enemies, immobilizing me, and it costs me my life.
No! No!
Taking the time to explore the world, I unlock a plethora of heroes, including Shredder. The ninja. Since this is an MMORPG, I spent a moment gathering a rando mummy ally to retry Dragon's Lair. Hello there, Shomanu. I'm back! This time I have a bow that has a skill shot depleting no stamina, allowing me to spam, along with a sword that calls forth a meteor storm, and a passive weapon sending out a continuous stony assault circling around me, while the mummy calls forth his skill scarabs to explode on the enemy, and a staff that tethers to the big boss. Meanwhile, I show off my ninjutsu, teleporting into the herd and throwing out shurikens. Thus, the struggle continues as our teammate whittles down the warlord's health, until at long last I get my vengeance upon him. Great job, mummy. Together, we are unstoppable. We're lost in a maze. And oh man, Anunnaki is a wake-up call. Not only does he explode out fireballs, but those fireballs spawn more fireballs. I didn't sign up for a bullet hell. Not to worry. Teamwork makes the dream work, and the mummy is keeping the rock's attention. Oh my heck! Anunnaki killed him! No! No! I can't fight this solo! Run away! Frustrated with the loss, I take my rage out on some randos in the meadow, and then of course gain their trust later. But you actually can't hurt each other in the starting world. So I recruited my pals to help my writer and editor start up fresh characters. For now. As a team, we decide to try out the cross-lobby feature, sending us out onto the Maple Plains. Look! In the bushes there! It's a player stranded with no teammates! After him! Charge! Later, we felt bad for ambushing them, so we morally surrendered our weapons and let them take the W.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Well, my team didn't like being sacrificed, so I had to visit the necropolis alone with a rando online instead, where, funny enough, I pair up with a different mummy, Uncle Buck.
How nice of you to notice.
Like family, he gives us sage advice for the fight ahead, and tips for the boss. Before we launch into the attack on Nurgle, Lord of the Underworld, he who immediately summons scythes to deny close-up attacks, and a white mist to damage us over time, I changed my weapon to a staff that would block in the boss with a ring of destructible trees. But it did not stop him from teleporting around, using his scythe to thresh the players in his immediate area, or summoning even more farming tools. Uncle Buck and I played well off each other, with the mummy acting as live bait tying Nurgle to one place, and me providing constant damage like I'm playing bot in League. Right when we're about to vanquish the foe, my companion warns me about the second phase, where not only does Nurgle respawn, but the only way to damage him is to destroy his orbiting scythes, which starts shooting lasers and seeking us across the stage. However, Buck and I have grown together and we vanquished the spectral weapons, breaking the Lord of Death's grip on this land. You know, Uncle, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship. Let's go to Frosthold Glacier together. After a quick pep talk and strategy meet, we move in to face the Yeti Foot Clan brothers, with one entering from the ceiling and both shooting windy shockwaves our way. I switch to a flamethrower-like weapon to do greater damage, as well as to burn my ally out of icy cages summoned by Enlil the Smallfoot. To support our friendship, I brought back out the trees that also give a small healing effect to us, but the Yetis cut down the forest. We do our best to keep up the pressure and are so close to getting Smallfoot, but between their surrounding ice mines, angering Bigfoot by destroying his brother, and his vicious follow-up attack, I lose Uncle Buck. No! Unfortunately for me, Smallfoot chooses now to stand back up, and I fall frozen and alone atop the glacier, just like Tupac. After that chilling experience, I decide to take a vacation on the Jade Coast, an area where Princess Layla has a few tasks for us to complete for abundant rewards. Oh yeah, and after that last raid, I treated myself by buying an in-game mount. He's a good lava elemental who likes drumming his tummy and surfing. Who's a good righteous dude? Anyway, Leia treats us like an exterminator, sending us after the cobras in the south coast, the hermit crabs that infest the heart of the region, as well as the hornets in the Isles forest core. Exploring further, I find a quaint shack with an enchantress inside who really wants us to gather eggs for some reason. Chris and Visa, get back in here. Let's exterminate Zdenek, the King Mole Rat. Guys, a little help here? Imbeciles. And hey, stop stealing all my gold I got for us here. We go to the Valkyrie to check out the other various PvPvE modes and decide to attempt the Protecting Princess Layla Guardian Challenge. Grabbing some stranger off the street, we first had to choose from 3 predetermined heroes. This was actually very similar to a roguelike if you're into those. Then we spawned in as level 1s with only daggers to our name. Let the games begin! Protect the princess against waves and waves of enemies who drop power-ups for your character. This mode requires complete trust in your comrades, especially because anyone can pick up the items on the ground. In between some waves, mini-bosses make a beeline to the princess, so you have to have towers prepped to slow them down. For each round beaten, each player is then offered one of 3 choices in how to boost their stats. Again, just like a roguelike. My writer chose the Nun, who has an area healing ability, while as a paladin, I had a passive that auto-triggers to protect me when I get swarmed by enemies. About every 5 waves, the mode spawns a boss enemy, and we're supposed to survive through 25 waves total. All of a sudden, my healer runs right into the boss twister, almost perishing. After our short break, the next wave spawns high health enemies, as my editor's wizard spammed effective magical spells. Meanwhile, Sunny, who we picked up off the streets, kept building more and more towers and defenses to wall in the princess. And by the 7th wave, we'd already stocked up on rainbow mythic weaponry, though I settled on using Nurgle's scythe due to its area damage and cool appearance, while using a staff to be a support healer on the side. The assault continued with more damage-absorbing enemies that looked like Jack Horner from Puss in Boots, more Cyclops bosses, many tree rings I sprouted for heals, but then new enemy soldier classes began appearing, tougher than the Jacks we've slayed before, who actually have quite strong attacks.
I need healing.
Sunny stayed center, trying to save the princess, while weak waves of Jawas attempted to surround us, followed immediately by the big breakers, damaging Layla to 80% of her health. The very next round, the director sends out war elephants, wrecking our towers. Our teamwork brought us right to wave 15, where we were literally surrounded by the Cyclops bosses that melted through our remaining tower defenses, forcing us to use the mode's currency to buy from the royal supplier for stronger arms and from the mysterious merchant for more building supplies. We thought we had the area well prepared. However, the enemies spawned from literally everywhere, forcing us to consolidate solely around the princess, who fell to the endless attack on the 16th wave. If only Obi-Wan Kenobi was here, her only hope. But hey, silver lining, I killed 408 foes.
I myself am sitting pretty on 43.
And who knows how much Sunny got. But we bid farewell to them back at the town square. Back to the Maple Plains, we took a tour of the bosses together, starting with the Naruto rushing boar chieftain, who also uses an area of effect chain explosion move. While my rider spawns in the witch's cauldron, my editor supports with his staff of pain, and I taunt the beast to spare my two friends. But I bait it outside of its normal boss area, causing it to regain all of its health. No! I leave behind the newbies to heal and attempt a partial solo run, before running back down to save one of my teammates. My struggle continues, carrying my allies, even allowing them to run off to gather more material while I stay behind. We chip and chip and chip until my editor steals the kill. What?
Oh, and by the way, you're fired.
Then he has the audacity to fire a Medusa head in attempts to turn us to stone. Dummy, we're on the same team.
Switching sides.
So this is it? After all we've been through.
I'll keep my eye on him, or I was until we started fighting the Thunder Feline. On top of my friends changing characters to the Wyvern, who can summon a thundercloud that spits lightning at close enemies, and the other changing into some demon girl class, which summons a hellish circle for damage. The Garfield wannabe casts a twirling lightning rod, uses the force to throw people out, and once again pulls itself back to full health somehow. So we do it over. Our party starts to pile on the hurt, with the Wyvern sticking close for damage over time, the Demoness jumping in to slow the enemy with its Gorgon head, and our entire team shooting and shooting and shooting, and got them down to their last bar of its enormous health bar. Again, for my editor to jump in and snap the last of the boss's health. 2 area bosses down, which means it's on to hunting the last 2, starting with the Jungle Ranger, a beast that spawns in miniature versions of itself and produces his own rings of trees to isolate one of us for a pounding. But for the most part, we stick together through the regrowing forest of trees. The rings and rings of shrubbery surrounding us that I just realized I could teleport out of with my smoke dash. Alright, let's do this. I'm fighting trees with my own trees, finally causing the environmentalists to die of cringe. Since my friends have been lagging behind, stupid me decided to begin the Crystal Queen Bee encounter by myself, and I almost regretted this decision due to her ability to spam out more and more little crystal bees. I dodge around her stinger machine gun, her waves and waves of icy stingers, and the swarms of more mini crystallized bees. By the way, where are my friends? Also, why did I leave them behind? Well, look who finally decided to show up after I had already drained 2 of the boss's health bars. At least they enter with a bang with the Demoness's fire, and the Wyvern's Thunderhead helped with crowd control against the roving band of bees. Just like that, we're actually working as a team, all of us using ranged weapons to give us plenty of space and time to dodge, with me acting as the group mom, healing everyone with Pinewood therapy, and of course, with everyone chipping in to chip away at the cracked boss's health. Once again, the kill was stolen, but by the Wyvern.
Oh, come on!
On top of that, when we checked out the Kilo Cliffs, there was a player there piloting a freaking mech. I didn't know those were invented yet in this time and age. They then proceeded to self-destruct their device and obliterate us one by one with their raw strength. Again, where are my friends when I needed them most? That's it. Time to hatch a little plan of vengeance on my friends at the God of War, a purely PvP arena, where I'm gonna teach them their final lesson. I teleport into their midst. Oh, you want paternity leave for your baby being born soon?
Betrayal.
Try a whooping instead. Chris, you want more sleep because your kids wake you up at night? Well, you can sleep when you're dead.
Double kill.
No employees of the Andrew Collette Show were mistreated in the making of this video. Be sure to try Heroes Land today for free on Steam using my link in the description. The game is updated frequently, and future updates will include seasonal lobbies, 3v3 PvP maps, hide and seek mode, and not to mention the other stuff I haven't even shown you yet that's already available. Also remember to like, subscribe, you know, all that stuff. You all have a good one. Thanks.